Over the last 2 years, I've purchased and reviewed dozens of different speculative crypto miners on this channel. In this video, I'm going to share exactly how I made $4,009 with all those miners in May of 2024. This is a monthly series where I track all my income from crypto mining and running crypto nodes, minus my current expenses, such as electric and hosting costs, so I can share with you my net income for the month. Stay tuned because I also have a refreshed ROI or return on investment analysis for every single miner, which I'll share with you later in this video. We also have several projects that we got into very early on this channel that went live with their tokens this month. So I want to share those results with you as well. Like I always say, it pays to get in early. We have quite a few other projects which are going live in the coming months, so it's an exciting time to be in this DePIN space. Speaking of which, most of these miners we will be reviewing today are DePIN miners, which stands for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Network. It involves using blockchain technology and token incentives to build and maintain physical infrastructure and solve real-world problems. Most of these devices are low cost and low power miners, making them easy for home miners like you and I to get involved. Plus, I think DePIN will be one of the biggest winners of this bull market, so it's not something you should dismiss. We've already seen several of our projects take off this year. Before we get to the numbers, you may have noticed I moved into my new office in my basement this week. It is still a work in progress, and I'm hopeful the audio is going to be okay for this video, so bear with me as I get everything dialed in. This month marks 25 consecutive months of sharing this month-end earnings review with you on this channel. I put this together for you so we can keep track of the profitability of every single miner I review for you on this channel. It takes me a long time to put this together, so if you learn anything from this video, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button for me. So our number one most profitable project for the month is a token that went live this month, and that is my Galaxis engine. I have 3 of these Galaxis engine nodes. I did a video on this earlier this year. They went live with their token on May 22nd. So these are my cumulative tokens that I had earned throughout their testnet, a total of 77,000 tokens earned, which at a current price of 0.015 cents per token equals $1,200. Now that doesn't recoup my initial cost for these nodes. I believe I paid $750 for each of them, so we still have a little ways to go until we break even on these Galaxis engine nodes. Coming number 2 is another node project, and that's my FLUX nodes. I have 2 Nimbus, 1 Stratus, and some FLUX staked on some Titan nodes. I've been running these FLUX nodes since basically the beginning of this channel a little over 2 years ago. They netted $358 for the month. I do pay $120 in hosting cost expenses. I get these hosted with Goldie Tech nodes, just so I don't have to deal with manually hosting these nodes from home. Number 3 project for the month has been a disappointment lately, and that is HiveMapper. I did a video on the decreased rewards I'm seeing with HiveMapper earlier this month. If you want to learn more on that, you can check that video out. Essentially, there was a new HIP 14, which greatly reduced a lot of the rewards for people around the globe. If we go to my Honey tab, here are my earnings over time. Since I got in this project in July of 2023. Now I have a double dash cam set up in my car, and you can see for the month we accumulated 4,000 honey tokens. That is up quite a bit versus April, but we're still down considerably versus earlier in this year in January, February, and March. At that time I was more actively mapping, whereas I'm not really doing that anymore. So that is contributing to some of the decreased rewards I'm seeing in terms of my honey tokens. Based on discussing with some other people, I am hearing a lot of other people are seeing very similar results in terms of some big reductions in their honey rewards each month. But still netting $313 for the month, which still isn't too shabby. Coming number 4 is my HiFix Space Weather Station. This mines the Geo token. The Geo token was down quite a bit this month, down 33%, but still netting $263 for the month. This has been a very profitable project for me. I've been in this basically since the very beginning, and then their token went live in, I believe, September of 2022. So it's been almost 2 years with this project. They do have their halving coming up here at the end of June, so our rewards will be cut in half post that halving. If we go to my rewards over time, you can see we're netting about 46.74 rewards per day. The maximum is 48 tokens per day, but after that halving, it'll be 24. You see my rewards over time, the halving impact that we had in June of last year. And I did do an upgrade of my device in early 2023. That's why it caused that spike there. I went from a double band version to a triple band version. I basically paid, I think, $150 for a new card. But now all the miners come equipped with that triple band version. I did do a video last week on triple mining this space weather with two other projects that are on our list today. Onakoi, which is still on testnet, and then I hooked up the Fry outdoor satellite miner to it. So now I'm triple mining the space weather at my house. Coming number 5 is my Step-In NFT shoes. This is a move to earn project and basically get rewarded for walking around every day, netting me $118 for the month. Coming number 6 are my pre-search nodes. I have 150,000 pre-search tokens staked across 15 pre-search nodes. Now, I mentioned in my month-end video a couple months ago, I actually ended up selling about 2/3 of my pre-search tokens. The pre-search token really has not performed very well this bull market so far. We're basically still at bear market lows for the token. So I made the decision to cut some of my losses, reduce my exposure, and shut down a lot of my nodes. So that's why I only have 15 nodes at this point. I think at the height of it, I had over like 110 nodes, but it really was quite the expense for hosting all those nodes. I host these through RackNerd. They do have a pretty cheap fees for hosting each node. I think it's about $10 or $11 per year, but that really starts to add up if you've got a large number of nodes. Now, helping to contribute to these earnings each month for pre-search is they do have a monthly airdrop going on, I believe, for every month of 2024. So right now I'm earning an additional 2,600 pre-search tokens each month via the airdrop. So that's helping to contribute to some of the profitability we're still seeing with pre-search. But I'll continue to keep these nodes running just as a speculative bet that maybe this will pop off someday. Okay, number 7 is the DIMO data miner. I have 2 of these DIMO data miners. I've also been in this project since the very beginning. Both my devices are now level 4. The DIMO token didn't do so hot this month. We're down 24%, but still making $72 for the month. If we go to my rewards history for DIMO, you can see the rewards reduction each week is slowing down. We're basically down about 1.37% per month. Whereas if we go back here in late 2023, early 2024, we were seeing some quite large reductions in rewards each week as people were scrambling to get involved with this project as the profitability was going up. So we've done really well with our DIMO data miners on this channel, being very early into this project as well. So hopefully you followed me along with that project and reap some of those rewards. Number 8, we have my Fry miners. I now have 6 Fry miners and they made just under $70 for the month. So we have 1 new Fry miner this month, like I mentioned, the Fry outdoor satellite miner. So in total, monthly earnings was 42,457 tokens. Now, some big changes that they made with Fry this month. They did vote and approve a 50% rewards reduction, and that was effective May 7th. So that's really contributing to this big decline we're seeing here for the month. And then they also made another vote the last couple of days of this month where they were reducing rewards going forward, but I believe 7%. Yes, a 7% reduction in rewards for every 1,000 miners that get added to the network. And I think this is a smart thing to do because it helps to make the project more sustainable long term. Yeah, it stinks when your rewards get reduced, but really if the token keeps falling because the rewards are too high, that's not good for anybody. Number 9 is Get Grass. This is a bandwidth sharing app. It's free to download and you can download it on your computer. They are still on testnet. So this price I have here for Get Grass is from the Whales market, which is basically a pre-market. You can buy and sell different tokens and points before they go live. So contributing $58 for the month. I did this video on Get Grass, I believe last month. If you want more information on this, check out that video. Number 10, we have my phone farm. I did have 50 phones working on my phone farm to mine Varus coin, but we actually lost 3 of my phones this month. So now we're down to 47. So what happened with those 3 phones? I'll put up a video on the screen now, but basically I have these phones working in my utility room. I walked by the utility room the other day and noticed that 2 of the phones, it looked like the flashlight was on the back of the phones. So the 3 phones are 3 of the older phones I have. And what I found is the battery was starting to bubble on the back of the phones. It was actually causing the light behind the screen to show from the side of the phone. So for safety purposes, I shut down those 3 phones just to prevent any potential fire and explosion. Number 11, we have my streamer nodes. I have 1 streamer node, and this is staked on the streamer network, just contributing $46 for the month. The streamer token performed pretty well this month, up 17%. Number 12, Helium Bobcat 500. This is 5G mining. the rewards for this has really been reduced pretty significantly as this network has expanded over the last several months. So just making $44 for the month. Number 13, Map Metrics. They did announce last month they are transitioning from Solana to Peak. So we'll see how that transition goes over the next couple months. I don't know that they've committed to a certain date for that transition yet, but I'll keep a lookout for Map Metrics in the coming months. You can see my rewards are up a little bit this month versus last month, and that's largely contributed to me driving a little bit more this month. Number 14, my Solana Chapter 2 phone. I pre-ordered this a couple months ago. So for these Solana phones, this and my Solana Saga, I'm just going to show the value of new airdrops I receive each month. So we had 2 airdrops for the Solana Chapter 2. I don't have this phone yet. It was just a pre-order, but we're starting to receive airdrops related to that pre-order. We won't get this phone till, I believe they're thinking early 2025. But we just have this DFTU and GMCAT airdrops worth $32 for the month. Number 15, we have Crank, contributing just $23 to the month. I have my 2 Matrix M2 Pros and my 2 Bobcat Helium miners working on Crank. Number 16 is WeatherXM. Exciting news for WeatherXM. They just went live with their token here on May 30th. So I have 3 days of reward so far. I'm earning about a little over 5.5 WXM tokens per day, and about half of those are beta rewards, which I will continue to earn every day, I believe for the next 400 some days. And the other half are my normal token rewards for hosting my weather station with WeatherXM. The WeatherXM token, it looks like it's leveled out after starting trading yesterday. We're looking at a price of about $1.29 at this point. So with those beta rewards, we're looking at about $6 or $7 per day, which isn't too shabby at this point. Number 23, Examiner. Nothing really going on here. I really don't have any space utilized on this because it was offline a couple months ago. So nothing going on with Examiner. Onakoi. This is my 3rd device that I'm triple mining space weather at home. They are still on testnet, so I'm earning these Bono tokens. But I believe they're trying to go live with their token in Q2. It may be pushed off to Q3, but we'll keep a lookout for Onakoi. Number 25, Wingbits. This one is still very early. This is flight tracking. I also do this from home. Interesting project, but it's still very early for that one. 26, Swordchain Mini. They rebranded the Modus Mini into the Swordchain Mini, I believe last month. I know they are still trying to go live with their token here at the end of Q2, so we'll be a lookout for this. I did have a discussion with their team last week, and I know they're trying to roll out some new software for the Swordchain Mini to make it Bluetooth enabled as opposed to pairing with your phone. So hopefully that'll make the process a lot easier for people to set up. I know my device is, I can't get it to work. So I'm hopeful that once they have a Bluetooth enabled that I can start working in my car, because it's basically been sitting in a drawer for me since I got it back in July of last year. And then finally, rounding off our list are my Bitcoin miners. I want to keep this on here because I am still running them, even though they are unprofitable at this point. If we go to my Bitcoin mining chart, here's my mining revenue per miner per day over the last month. So I have 6 of these S19 Pro 110 terahash Bitcoin miners. You can see the revenue per miner is pretty consistent this month. After the halving last month, we saw a huge spike when those runes were a big craze, and basically fees on the Bitcoin network were very high, helping to contribute to some increased profitability, but that has really leveled off at this point. So unfortunately, that means we are unprofitable at this point. I do have these hosted at Big Cap Hosting, so I pay an 8 cent per kilowatt hour hosting expense for them. So we're underwater $164. I did do a calculation of what price we're going to need Bitcoin to be at for these to return profitable again. We're looking at just over $78,000. But at this point, I'm just going to keep these devices on unless we really start to go underwater, because long term, I think Bitcoin's going much, much higher. We go over to our miner graveyard. No new additions to the graveyard this month, which is always nice to see. But I just want to remind you that not every project is going to work out. And as you can see on this list, we are littered with a bunch of failed projects that we covered on this channel. Basically, every gold shell mini box miner, which are small ASIC miners, has turned unprofitable at this point. So one of the strategies I use with mining is try to diversify across many different projects, so I'm not always reliant on one single project. I think that can be quite risky. It can also be quite lucrative, but my strategy is at least to try to diversify and not get too concentrated in one project. Next, let's look at the ROI analysis I put together so we can see which miners potentially are the best ones to currently buy. We'll start off with the assumptions I'm making so we can level set here. First, miner fair market value estimates are based on recent comparable miner sales I'm seeing from eBay, or in which case I don't have an eBay price, I'll go with the current manufacturer's price for these devices. These are not my purchase costs for these devices. In almost all cases, I paid way more for my devices than they're currently for sale for, but that's just the way mining pricing goes over time. Prices go down. Next, these are current month net income. My actual results less my expenses. Yours may be different as mining difficulty changes or if your electric or hosting costs are different. This is as of a point in time at the end of May. Miner value and income amounts are obviously going to vary over time as prices change. And finally, this is not financial advice, so don't use this as your sole justification for purchasing a miner or a node. So I have this ROI analysis sorted by break-even days from shortest break-even to longest. And then I have a color coding system here on the left in column B. Green, I think, are the strongest projects. Yellow, I have some concerns. And then red are the projects I would stay away from at this point. I don't want to waste your time here, so we're just going to go over this very briefly. Number one here, I've got Get Grass. And the reason this is number one is because there's no cost to get into this project. You basically download this free app, you share your internet bandwidth, and you can earn these points, which are currently have a value on Whales Market, making about $58 for the month. Now, the reason I have this yellow marked is because there is some privacy concerns with sharing your internet bandwidth, so it is something you need to keep in mind if you're going to download this app. Number two, WeatherXM. Like I mentioned, they just went live this month. They do have a discount on their WeatherXM weather station right now. So instead of $400, it is $380. And also keep in mind that this income includes my testnet rewards, which basically doubles my income each month. So if you were to purchase this right now, you're probably looking at a break even of around 70 to 80 days. Number three, the HiFix Space Weather Station, mining Geo token. This one's been a big winner for all of us who have gotten involved early, and I think we are still very early in this project. I think there's only like 7,000 of these weather stations situated across the globe at this point, so it is a global project. I know their goal is to hit over 100,000 stations, so little price here coming in at $625, so it may be out of some of your price ranges, but that is understandable and it's okay to pass. But at this point, I think it is very lucrative. We also got to keep in mind you got that halving coming up here at this point, so that break even may be a little bit longer than that 71 days. Number four, Galaxis engine. I have this one marked as red just because I think this isn't a real node project, and I've got some big concerns. Watch my video on Galaxis if you're considering this. I personally would stay away at this point. Yeah, they went live with their token, and we're seeing some rewards at this point, but I just have some concerns with this. I would not recommend anyone purchase one of these. Number five, Hive Mapper. I've done several videos on this, and I did a video last month about the reduction in rewards, but I think if you drive a lot, this still could be very worthwhile for you to pick up one of their Hive Mapper Bs, which is going to start shipping in Q3, but I don't know at this point if you purchase one, you may not get it till Q4, but it is a really cool project that they are putting together in terms of mapping all the roads in the world. Number six, STEPN. I would stay away from STEPN. I think STEPN is very Ponzi based, and there's no reason you should be rewarded for walking around your house every day. But I've been involved for almost 2 years now, but I don't see this being sustainable long term. Mapmetrics, number seven. The good thing about Mapmetrics is it is quite cheap. If you're driving for these other drive-to-earn projects, it may make sense to pick up one of these devices as well. But I think there's a lot of risk with Mapmetrics in terms of it's still a very small project, and their big transition from Solana to Peak could have some hiccups. So that's why I've got that marked as yellow. The number eight, DIMO data miner. This one's still green on my list. Yeah, rewards are down as the network grows, but as the network grows, the value of this DIMO token hopefully will continue to appreciate in price. So I think if you've got a car, it really makes sense to probably pick up one of these devices and put them in your car. And I did see they did increase the price of the DIMO data miner. It's now $331, whereas I think a couple of months ago it was, after discount, about $270. And then here, we'll skip over a lot of these lower ones at this point. I think there's some potential with these projects, but obviously I've got them all marked as yellow. Either the ROI break-even days is very long, or there's some considerable risk with some of these projects, or the cost is quite high. We go down to our testnet projects. Examiner, I would stay away from Examiner. This is very expensive, and the data storage market, I think, isn't very sustainable. If you look at all these data storage projects, I don't see the space being utilized long-term for these different crypto projects. So stay away from Examiner, save yourself $2,800. Anakoi is very interesting, just because I find the space weather space very interesting, and it's fairly cheap, especially if you can dual mine it with your GeoNet space weather station. Wingbits is also very cheap. Flight tracking, I don't know that there's going to be a huge market for that, but we'll see. SwordChain, I think SwordChain is probably one of your best value bets you can make here at a net cost of just $75. If you've got a car, it may make sense to pick up one of these devices and get involved, especially before the token goes live, so you can be eligible for their airdrop. And then finally, we have the Bitcoin miners. I would stay away from Bitcoin mining at this point unless you can source extremely cheap electricity. It doesn't really make sense to hop into Bitcoin mining. It's just way too competitive at this point. So I have discount codes for a lot of these different miners, which I'll put in the description below. If you choose to use my codes, it does help to financially support this channel. So thank you very much in advance if you choose to use them. One more thing, I do have a quick life update. My wife and I are expecting our third child here in July of this year. We're having a baby girl, so I have a 2.5-year-old boy, a 1-year-old boy, and then this new baby girl. So I will have 3 kids under 3. So rest assured, I am going to be very busy in the next couple months. So if there's less videos coming out from me on this channel, you'll know why. But I'm not going anywhere. I'll continue to try to provide you guys the most honest and clear mining reviews I can on this channel. I hope you have a great week. See you later. Bye.